Intelligence is dealing with aptitude, the ability, the intelligence of the Holy Spirit. If we don't lay this foundation, you won't respect the Holy Spirit and you will override His devices on your own. You will dare to think that you are smarter than the Holy Spirit. You will override the warnings of the Holy Spirit and the dictates of the Holy Spirit and take your advice over His advice and wonder why it doesn't work out. The Bible says the Holy Spirit has such intelligence and it searches all things, yea, even the deep things of God. It knows everything. It knows everything. Where we get the word
Yeah, I called you. You didn't hear me? I had called you. You didn't hear me? I did. I just came to the bank. Hold on a second, because I got to get my staff.
need your whole undivided. I need your whole undivided attention. Push that door, please. Things have really gone south here. Really gone south. Which is totally unexpected. Crystal, there's a 3-day notice. There's a 3-day notice. You got to go.
That's not lawful. You can give me that, but I already called the police and I know my rights.
You can do whatever you want to do.
You catch it.
I'm not dealing with that.
Okay.
But that's your 3-day notice.
Well, that's not given to me. That's the
Either
law.
you be gone or we will have you escorted out.
And you can do that today. Because I called 911 and I called the police, and the police said as long as I have a landlord-tenant agreement and it's produced, that I have a right to be here. And I'll call 911 again if I need to.
Hold it.
We can call.
You didn't read your agreement.
I did read my agreement.
Did you?
I did read my
Did you read this
agreement.
part?
I read everything on there.
Did you read it?
I did.
The landlord can terminate tenancy by giving the tenant a 3-day notice if the tenant has done any of the following.
Mm-hmm.
One of the following is substantially
Let me get mine to make sure you have the main one.
That's part of the problem.
Okay.
Your imagination.
No, your imagination.
No, I don't.
While you're here, can I have a copy of the agreement that you gave the sheriff, because that was taken out of my belongings again.
What agreement?
The letter that I asked you for verification, that was taken.
What letter?
The letter that you have a text message that I asked you for about how the rent was being paid, and that you gave me on April the 4th when you came. Have you forgotten about it?
I don't have any letter.
You didn't give me a letter?
If I gave it to you, you're supposed to have it.
Okay, then why is it not in my possession? You gave me a letter. You don't remember the letter that I asked you?
You sent a lot of things that are not in your possession.
Pastor Patton, I'm looking at, I'm on the tenant agreement, and
Look where it says 3-day notice.
and
And
You
tell me
can-
what it reads.
you can do whatever you need to do. In that time, I may be gone on my own,
This is
but
a
the
legal
law,
and binding agreement.
well, then you need to do it and then look forward to the police department, because I called them and they told me what my rights are. So anything that you have outside of that is null and void, and it's not legal. So we're gonna deal with the law. So and all the way down to when it is time for me to
That's why I
be,
just gave you a 3-day notice.
You're not-
With the law.
and you're gonna have that right back. And okay, and like I said, we'll call the law and see what they have to say. Like I told, you in the text message, it was never my intent for you to have to evict me for any reason. I made a statement to Cheryl this morning that I wanted to
You
leave.
got the ladies in this home, they don't want
Okay.
you here anymore.
Listen,
You
I didn't, ain't nobody
Send
threatening.
me a video.
Okay, come on, you
Send me
can
a
go.
video about-
You can come on, cause this is my right. You can go.
This is my home.
Okay, well, let me call 911.
This is my home.
Let me call 911.
This is not your home. That's the problem. This is your home.
This is not. This is my room that is in for rent,
Your home.
and it applies with the same rules as what? Can I get what you said in writing? Why did you steal that bag?
How much?
Why did you take that bag?
What bag?
Why did you take it back? Now you saying you didn't even give me a letter. Now you saying you didn't give me a
I don't know
letter.
what letter you talking about.
You don't know what letter I'm talking about? You didn't give me any letter on April 4th.
What did the letter, what was it about?
Did you give me a letter that I asked you for? Oh, let me go back to the text message. Let me go back to the text message. Hello, sir. It's Crystal. This is sent Friday, March 24th, 2023. Hello, sir. It's Crystal. I spoke to Cheryl about a declaration statement. I am going through a divorce and I need a statement that the church paid for my room and board costs. If the statement could state that you reach paid for loan lender, you reach paid for February 15th to 23 to March the 15th, and the church paid for March the 15th to April, that would be good. If Cheryl can provide this, it would be helpful, or if you would like to provide it, it would be great. Your most expeditious response would be greatly appreciated. You, in turn, replied, Cheryl does not do that. It has to come from me or Pastor Moore. Cheryl is paying for you March the 15th through April the 14th. The church is sponsoring you from April to May. You came over here on April the 4th. We met downstairs in Cheryl's office for 43 minutes and 15 seconds. You produced a letter in an envelope and said, here is your verification. That verification is gone. I went downstairs and got a copy from Cheryl, the original that you gave, and then the copy that Cheryl put in my rental folder. That copy is gone from my possession. I asked for it back. If it's not a big deal, why is it gone? And then you acting like you didn't know you gave it to me. You're now.
When you finish, let me know. I want the same respect and courtesy I'm giving you when I talk, okay? I want the same respect and courtesy.
I'm reporting terroristic threats here, and they're not. I'm not making any, and no one's made them to me. But this is the accusation here, and I have who this man is calling himself a pastor. I'm at 4436 Bronson Street in San Bernardino County. I called. Yes, it's a rental house for rooms. Yes, ma'am. Crystal Ketchup. 909-300-2829. Yes, ma'am, thank you. Yes, ma'am. My name is Crystal Ketchup. I called earlier today. I'm at 4436 Bronson Street, and I called in reference to a rental agreement. I rent a room here, and the person that is over the lease here is here in my room that I rent out, and he won't leave, and he's being demanding and telling me that he owns the property. He can pretty much do what he wants. And so he's now making new accusations that I've never heard before, that someone here in the house is being threatened. And I asked him for a copy of the rental, of how the rent was paid here. He refuses to give me that. I just want some officer to come out to kind of state the rules, because I feel like this is going to go into a domestic situation, and I really don't want to do that. This man is in the room, and even though he's over the rental agreement, he doesn't have a right to kind of just be in my space and refuse to leave like that. Because even though it's a room that's being rented, it still acts and serves with the same policies as an apartment. And so I just want an officer to come out, please. Harold Patton. He's black. He's about 52 to 55. I'm sorry. He has on a aqua blue shirt that says boss, and he has on blue pants, and he has on navy blue tennis shoes. Sitting right here on the bed. No, ma'am. Yes, I am.
Can you hear me?
She's talking to you.
Yes, ma'am, I hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I hear you.
Hi, is your name Harold?
My name is Pastor Harold Patton. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so she is advising that she has a rental agreement that she lives there, correct?
She lives here. We have a rental agreement in place. She's never paid a penny to live here.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna tell you. She has the right to be there. So if you want her out, you're gonna have to evict her.
I've started that process. I just served a 3-day notice.
Okay, but we're not gonna go out and remove you from your home, and we're not gonna go out and remove her from her home.
I didn't
So you
have,
guys need to separate.
I never called and asked you guys to come and remove her.
Sir, I'm not saying you did, sir. I'm trying to explain the situation to you. So what I'm saying is, just as we wouldn't go and remove you from your home, we're not gonna go and remove her from her home. So until you go to the court and get her evicted, she has the right to be there. Do you understand?
I thoroughly understand. I know the law, ma'am.
Okay, so then leave her alone, get out of her room. You guys need to stay away from each other until you go to court.
Ma'am, I never intended to be in this room. I asked her to come into the office of the home. This is a safe house for women. She's been a very severe nuisance in this home. I asked her to come into the office that we may talk with my female house manager that's here in the presence. She's here right now with us. She refused. She said she did not want to leave her room because she was afraid someone would take something out of her room. And so I agreed to come into her room. Now she called you and said I won't leave her room.
Okay, Crystal?
Yes, ma'am.
The same thing I'm telling him. You guys need to just stay away from each other until you just go to court and get this resolved. This isn't something the police are going to get involved with, okay?
Okay. Thank you so much.
You've been served.
She said that doesn't count. He's still saying that I have to be out here in 3 days, and it's just being rude. She's talking to you, Harold. He said he don't want to talk to you, ma'am. And he restricted rights to me being in the house. Come get your phone. Yes, I'm here. I'm sorry, what you said, ma'am? Yes, ma'am, I did. Okay, bye.
What you just did was very childish.
Go ahead. The lady said stay away from me. Don't leave your stuff in my room. Don't leave your stuff in my room. I didn't do anything. You heard what the law said? gonna stand all day?
I got the right to.
Well, then stay all day. That's you. That's you. What you really think you gonna have me in the house while I don't have nothing to eat?
You don't have the right to cook, she's gonna cook.
I have a right to go in the kitchen and get me something to eat. You've been letting it go on. You've been letting it go on. You've been letting it go on.
Stop now.
Okay, well, guess what? No, I tell you what, I'm gonna go in that kitchen, I'm gonna make me something to eat whenever I get hungry and whenever I feel like it. And you welcome to do whatever you feel like you can do. And we gonna leave that at that.
Please, can I see all the other my car outside?
Yeah, go ahead and have your meat.
Not cloud.
Susan, Harold said he wanted to see y'all outside. You're not supposed to have Cheryl's office door open like this. And if you coerce for them to lie and say they've been threatened, we're going to call the police. You need to do that while everybody's here. And stop lying, because ain't nobody ever threatened them and had nothing mean to say. Cheryl just asked me to throw her birthday party. That's right, don't. So I got a right. So whatever you out here lying and saying, I got a right to stand right here.
If you both want to go to the party, you want to just let it on Cheryl. Enough is enough.
Cheryl like told you that she was going to have ice cream. You're supposed to have her door locked up. Supposed to be a pastor and out there coercing people to tell lies. Why don't you have Cheryl investigated for IHS fraud? How about that? Because she ain't got no right to be getting no check from nobody up in this house that she's signing up saying she take care of and she don't. How about that? How about that?
Bronson Street.
Yes, ma'am. I just called and spoke to a police officer and at 4436 Bronson Street in San Bernardino County. I called and the lady transferred me over to speak to someone else. And you transferred me over to the police. It's 4436 Bronson Street. No, no ma'am. I'm at the house of 4436 Bronson Street, and the man wants me out of the house today, and he came over here and served me a 3-day notice. And so they said, Crystal, catch up. 909-300-2829. Okay. I just called in and spoke to a different female a few moments ago, probably about 15 minutes ago. And the situation was I am living in the rooming house of 4436 Bronson Street in San Bernardino. And the person that is over this house wants me to vacate the premises. So the lady told him that in order for that to happen, they would have to go through the eviction process. So he called a group of girls outside, that is outside right now, and had them told them to say that I was crazy about the thefts that occurred on the property, and I'm recording him telling them to call medical to say that something is being done to them, that they're being threatened, and he's back into my room again, stating that something is missing and nothing is missing, and I haven't taken anything from him. And I need a police officer to come out. 4436 Bronson Street. And this is in San Bernardino County. Yes, it's a house. He had someone else to call in just now, and the lady was saying that I was paranoid and crazy and all kinds of stuff so that he could have me. Yes, it is. And they told him that that he didn't have grounds to have me to leave other than going through the court. And so he didn't like that. So now he's trying to come up with something else to have me move from the property immediately. Yes. Catch up. Yes. He just came back in here while he was on the phone, and he told me when she got off the phone that I could not cook and could have nothing to eat, that I wasn't allowed to go in his kitchen anymore for whatever reason. I have did nothing wrong. They wanted me to cook here. I understand that it's a civil matter. She was doing that before. But what he's doing is not a civil matter. What he's doing is got the girls outside to say lies, and that I can't go in the kitchen, I can't eat, and he's acting as if he's going to fight me. So that is the part that the police do need to come about. Okay, so does he have a right to just bogart the kitchen and bogart? the areas of the house like this? Okay. So I tell you what, then transfer me over to paramedics, please. Because I have anxiety, and he's going to give me an anxiety attack, and I feel my blood pressure rising. No, there's no way here. There's no ride here. Okay, thank you. $4436 Bronson Street, San Bernardino County. I believe so. It's a house. The phone number you're calling from is, I'm calling from is 909-300-2829. I called in before because the landlord and I had a verbal disagreement, and he wants me out of the house. And so in order to get me out of the house, they told him they would not come out, that he needed to leave my room, and that he needed to file for an eviction. He didn't want to do that. So he told all of the girls, other girls in the house that went out of room, he told them to come outside. And when I went outside, he told me I couldn't eat anything in the kitchen, that I could not go into his kitchen anymore at all, as if I'd done something wrong. And then, Oh, I thought you were asking me like what happened. The altercation and what he's doing, he's running my blood pressure up. And so I need medical attention. Yes. I'm 46. It's elevated right now. No. Yes, he is. He's right here in the hall. Yes, ma'am. He's refusing to leave. We called the police twice, and the police told him to leave because he could not be here like this, and he wanted to do an eviction, then he could just do an eviction. But they said that he had no right to just be here and stay this way. And so he's kind of just like bombarding everything, trying to get me really upset, and it's working because my blood pressure feels elevated. Yes, ma'am. Because my blood pressure is raised, and that's it. Like, I don't know, it's hard to describe. Like, in my head. Like a faint dizziness, maybe. It's just not strong. It just feels light.
Miss Harriet. How are you? I called. Are you busy? You know I've been staying. What happened is I've been staying here since February. And for the last like week or so, stuff started coming up missing out of my room. And so I told the lady this morning that, I didn't feel comfortable being here anymore, that I wanted to leave, and that I was going to leave, that I just couldn't take the issue anymore, and that I'll put in a notice of intent to sue them for the stuff that was going out of my property. And I told them that they didn't have cameras up, they didn't have anything, and it just made me feel really unsafe. So what happened was, and long term, once they got the notice of intent to sue, they started being mean. And so she was acting like she was being nice and saying, well, you can still stay and this, that, and the other, and we're not gonna bother you, and we're not gonna worry about it, or whatever the situation is. You can still stay and this, that, and the other. And so I was willing to do that. She said she was gonna talk to her pastor, tell the police about what happened, and then we would go from there. So she never did that. She didn't do any of that. In fact, she did the total opposite. They kept coming in my room to take the legal paperwork that I have. So up until the point that she gave me a copy of how the rent had been paid, and they took that. And so today, when I asked the pastor, he came over here and told me that he just wanted me to get out. And so I told him that the police said that I had a right to be here and that he needed to evict me. So the police told him on the phone when I called him, they said, you need to leave her room, that you have to go out, that she has a right to be there. I'm not going to evict you from your home, and I'm not going to evict her out of her home. And they said, you need to leave. And so he said, well, I'm just saying that that she needs to leave because we don't want her here anymore, and she's aggravating everybody here. So they told him again that he needed to leave the room, that he had a right to call them, but not until he had got a proper court eviction. So he didn't want to do that. So he told the girls outside and said, come outside and let me talk to y'all. And I went outside and heard him telling them, okay, let's say that this happened to her, and just tell her that she's being paranoid and she's threatening y'all and all of this stuff, as if I'm doing something wrong, and I'm not. The first 911 call shows that I didn't do anything wrong, And so now,
Sorry, the police department.
Police department. Where? Are you Crystal?
Yeah. Okay, just check. Can I talk to you? Should I provide a car? Yes. Crystal, why don't we do this?
Okay, so I called, this is a room. This is a rental house, rental house, and stuff like that. I called my own one, told them I called 911 because he came over because I told him that I wanted to file a notice of intent to sue. I can let you see the text message, the notice of intent, all of that, because of stuff that was missing out of my room. It's been missing to the point that this is why I want you to come see. They put a door time on my door, like door time. I want you to let you see it, so you can see what I'm saying is right. The door charm on the door to say that, so that we know if somebody can come in the room or not. The manager here, I think, text message, she even said, was willing to give me a camera to put in the room to cover the stuff that had been stolen. The other girl on the couch was stealing makeup. Somebody stole her makeup last week. The manager went out and bought $60 worth of makeup to cover that. So the point of the matter that why he was mad because he got the notice of intent to sue. And I can show you that. So because, yeah, the narrative. So because he got the notice of intent to sue, he got upset. And he came over here today in my room upstairs. First told me to come downstairs and talk to him. I didn't want to come downstairs and talk to him. I told him there's nothing else to talk about. Pretty much it was standard. He wanted me to get out, that was fine. I even texted him that I can let you see the text message and said, I never intend on you going to get an eviction. I am planning to move out in a few days, this, that, and other. He came over. He said, okay, no problem. Came upstairs in the room and he was defiant and he was like, just your 3-day notice. I want you to get out. Don't go in my kitchen, this, that, and other. And I called 911 because I didn't want to have a verbal or physical altercation with this man. He's supposed to be belonging to the church. So I said, I don't want to have a physical altercation with you. I'm going to call 911. So I called 911 and you can call and verify. They told him that he needed to get out of my room. None, ma'am, of what he said to y'all now, he told 911. We're going to call 911 3 times. I have trying to get an officer out here because he was trying to provoke me in some sort. He even told me I can have nothing to eat out of the kitchen, which is bizarre, and told me I cannot go in there. And if I do, as if there's some type of threat going on. So I called 911 back and told him that. But ma'am, look at what he's doing now. The lady told him on 911, you can call and verify. She told him, get out of her room and you need to leave. That's what she told him. He never told her any of the lies. I recorded it. No, I can show you the recorder, ma'am. He called girls outside. I recorded him, telling them to tell lies. What else happened? And so after that, he left his phone in the room. And I picked his phone out of my room and he got it and he said, that's very petty. Okay, that's petty. Bottom line, you don't leave your stuff in my room, okay? So then the lady told him that he needs to get out of my room and that he needs to leave. She said you need to stay away in the situation before something escalates or whatever. Sir, you need to leave. You cannot put her out of the home. You need to go to the court and get an eviction notice. You cannot be in the house like this. He is still here, all those minutes later, trying to do something to cause a ruckus to get me to forcibly leave here so that I don't have a place to stay. Which really, ma'am, I would be leaving anyway. I would have left today. No, ma'am, nothing else happened. I report. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Never. I've been up there. I promise you. I do have anxiety. I did feel like my blood pressure was up because of the situation that's wrong. I did call to have them come out and check my blood pressure. She said they will only come out in extreme emergencies only. So I went back to my room and just sat on the bed. It wouldn't be. No, I called my best friend in Georgia, and she knows me, and I just asked her to stay on the phone as a witness. Yes, in addition to my tape recorder. He is that. Yes, he's both. And so and they told him to leave, that he could not just expect for me to be put out in one day, and that he could not come and just make these unreasonable demands trying to make an altercation.
So what do you know about right now about tennis rights?
What I know about tennis rights is I know that he has to evict me. I know that I have not done anything wrong. I know that I know that he has to go to court by going down to the court and filing for a writ of possession and this I know from Georgia, but I'm sure in California it's the same thing. That he has to go down there and he has to file. He told me he wasn't going to do any of that. That he would have me carried out here in 3 days. And he put a 3-day notice up there, and the lady told him, "Sir, you cannot do that. You cannot give her a 3-day notice. You can't do any of that." And she told him to leave. He didn't even want to do that. You can even call back to 911 dispatch and they'll verify that. In the same time, I was recording because I heard him start telling lies. So I turned my recorder on, and it's on right now upstairs in my room. He recorded the entire thing. So I'm not a danger to him or myself. Before you came, I was upstairs on the phone with her. I saw you pull up. That's the only reason I came downstairs.
Are you here for the room or are you a renter?
I'm a renter here.
You're
And
renting.
he's
You're
been
not a part of the town.
no ma'am.
You just rented a room.
So I was referred to him through the Catholic Social Services. I'm going through divorce and I have a place to stay. And so I can let you see that too. And so I was referred to him for a place to stay. I called him and U-Reach over at Loma Linda Hospital, U-Reach is a part of them. They paid the first $850 for me to move in. Then the manager of this house, Cheryl Harris, she's not here right now. She paid the other $850 that covers me for the rest of this month. It's manager Cheryl Harris. It's the assistant manager Inez. I don't know her last name. And then it's Carol Patton. That man has been serving as kind of like the director over this.
Why is he here?
Because I served him with a notice of intent to sue.
Because of all the stuff that's been
Listen, yes,
he hasn't done it.
no,
And so this is continuing to be missing.
yeah.
And so you're just trying to use the landlord to watch.
Right, it was just simply to write out a notice, and then it was also reporting concerns about the manager here. I was letting him know that, she's signing people up here. I don't know whether they're aware of it or not, but she's getting assistance for people and some type of IHS assistance, and she shouldn't be because this is not a assisted living place. So I reported thinking I'm doing the right thing, that maybe you need to look into your manager because she's getting checks for people, and I don't know if these people know that they're signed up for these kind of services, and she's saying that she's taking care of them. So, and she's not. And
So we're on board. So we're good. We're good.
I understand
You
that.
know about them already here in California and you're somewhere, there's some good ones.
And I feel like that's what this is. And believe me or not, I can let you
Take them to the county.
I know, I literally, all of this stuff, I swear, just literally just started within like the last 72 hours.
County, let me know, and they'll look into it, they'll direct for any help.
Okay. What is your name? Crystal. And my last name is Crystal. 2777. Yes. 909-300-2829. I can't smoke any cigarettes
So
out
you're
there
just
right
doing
now.
whatever you want. You do whatever you do, stop.
I just don't want to. I don't
It's
want
better to
to be.
better, not right now, because obviously you don't have a place to go, but have a place, have a time frame where you're gonna take off when you get the fiction stuff, and that you that would very good.
Okay, well, I got a message in my phone and I texted him, ma'am, because I am a Christian.
If
And I,
you before,
yes, ma'am.
that's not gonna show up on your record at all.
Well, I don't think he went through like an application and all that other stuff, and he's not even checking ID, which is weird also. But my main thing was, I don't want a lot of type of hassle, and when somebody's trying to do something like that and say things like that about you, then that, you're just making it all the more clear that you really are responsible for my property being lost, because why would you go to this extreme of being this way? And so, you know, I don't know what else to say, but I'm not a threat to him or anybody else in there. And when he came here, I was in my room and I refused to come out because I was on recorder in there because that makes me feel safe. You know what I'm saying? Just to have a record, a document of what happened before this man came. This is what I was doing. I was asleep. He woke me up and this, that, and the other. And the dispatch told him a long time ago.
It helps us.
Thank
Obviously,
you.
there's no crime here at all.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
don't believe in movies.
Yes, ma'am.
But that's gonna help me with what
Yes, ma'am.
that's gonna be evidence for you always put evidence.
Yes, ma'am, and I told him that because he's operating as business. And so I have a right to do that in the room because there's no safety there.
And he talked just for you.
He did, and
Do that was kind of great. So you're able to add that on your.
yeah. Thank you
There you go.
for coming. I appreciate it.
You will see something.
That is supposed to be a pastor doing that. That's supposed to be a pastor, Miss Harriet.